What is up, everybody? This is TheWardFace, and today I am back. I'm making a commentary today. I wanted to talk about Assassin's Creed Syndicate a little bit. What would my channel be without talking at least a little bit about Assassin's Creed at some point throughout this entire release process, and seeing how that a lot of things were kind of like, not leaked, but released by Assassin's Creed recently. And just kind of the fact that I haven't really been making videos and I need to make commentaries, I decided that I want to talk about it. So, really quickly, this is just kind of gonna go over like brief stuff about the game, and I'm gonna kind of just talk about what I like and don't like about kind of the brief major points that have been released so far about this game, or that I thought were important or caught my eye, or however I decided to make this list. Really quickly, because commentaries, if you guys have been watching my channel, I haven't been uploading like pretty much anything recently. I'm just like in the process of a bunch of crap I'm not going to go into it right now. But because commentaries are one of the only things that I can currently do at this time, if you guys have any suggestions for other stuff that you want me to talk about, whether it relates to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, or anything else, of course, just leave your comments and suggestions in the comment section below, and I will greatly appreciate that, and I will be happy to talk about anything that you guys want me to talk about. So let's kick this off. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This time it's taking place in London. More specifically, Industrial Revolution / Victorian era London. Of course, very professional of me, I forgot to look up the exact date, but I'm pretty sure I saw it was in the 1860s. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. This is kind of like the biggest thing, kind of cool. I feel like everybody's been wanting to play in London since the game came out. It's just a cool setting, just especially this era in time. You got the Industrial Revolution going on, so you got all this like modern stuff beginning to be developed. And at the same time, we still have the cool old London city, which is just going to be awesome to run around, in my opinion. And I'm very excited for that. I know that a lot of people have been pushing for London being a location in Assassin's Creed, what feels like forever. So it's cool that they finally actually did this. I know that, what was it, Assassin's Creed Victory was like the code name, or what people thought it was going to be. So people had a pretty good idea that it was going to be Victorian era London for a while now. I think they just didn't know exactly what time and all that stuff. Okay, so the next point is you get to play as two main characters in this one, which is pretty cool. It is the Fry twins. One is a man, one is a woman. It's Jacob and Evie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope that I pronounced that right, Evie. I was looking at it, it looks just like... She hasn't been mentioned in any videos. Jacob got like a whole character bio video thing on Assassin's Creed Twitter page that I saw they put out, but Evie didn't get anything, so that's kind of messed up. So I also didn't get to hear the exact pronunciation of her name. I don't think I can mess that up. It's pretty easy, Evie. If I somehow mess that up, I apologize, of course. You know, I'm sure you guys will be super pissed if I mention her a bunch of times by the wrong name throughout this video. So they are twins. It's pretty cool. I guess you get to switch between them at any point throughout the game, even during missions, which seems pretty cool to me. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do it, if you have to play like certain parts of the mission as a certain character, or if you kind of get to do it like, oh my god, Grand Theft Auto. Like, you get to just choose between, like, say, instead of Trevor and Michael, you get Evie and Jacob now, which is... I guess pretty cool. I think if it works out and if they can implement it right, it's pretty cool. We'll just have to see. I mean, I like the idea, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of having two main characters. I guess they're supposed to play completely different. Jacob is supposed to be like this big tough brawler dude, while Evie is more of the stealthy, traditional, cool assassin lady. So we'll have to see. I'm excited to see if it works right, I guess I can say it that way. If it works right, I think it's awesome. If it doesn't, I feel like it could cause some major issues, and I don't want to go back down like Assassin's Creed Unity for most people with all the glitches and stuff. Which kind of brings me to the next point. This game will be about 30% larger in size than Assassin's Creed Unity, and by that I mean just like the city size. So London will be 30% larger than Paris. which again, it's one of those things that I find would be awesome if they can implement it right. But I mean, I was one of the very few that didn't have a bunch of problems with Assassin's Creed Unity. I managed to get through the game without major like game-breaking glitches. So I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Unity, but I know I can't take my own rare, I guess, experience with the game and kind of put it on everybody else, because I know the majority of people had like game-breaking glitches or just like glitches that made it impossible to enjoy the game. That being said, 30% larger sounds great, but unless they can implement it well, and I don't know, I guess I'm just going to stay skeptical about this. A lot of these points, I realize as I discuss them, I feel a little skeptical unless I actually see them. Unfortunately, I guess just like the lore around Assassin's Creed Unity kind of caused this in a lot of people, and I just want to try to be like unbiased, because I know Assassin's Creed Unity, as I said before, worked great for me, and I've always been a huge fan of Assassin's Creed, but I gotta go with everybody else's. So, because of the big city, they've like implemented a lot of different things for like getting around. I know in one of the trailers there were like drivable carriages. I think the gameplay trailer actually. So you get to drive like horse and buggies, which is pretty cool. I kind of like, if you guys remember, if any of you have been subscribed to me for a while, like Assassin's Creed 3, I used to ride the horses. I used to suck at riding the horses. I hated riding the horses at the time, but thinking back, I really would have liked like some faster way to get around Assassin's Creed Unity in Paris and everything. So, I guess I don't have anything bad to say about the drivable like horse and buggy carriages. Once again, as long as they're done correctly, as long as they're not impossible to drive, I'll be happy with them. It'll just be another way to get to the other side of the map a little bit quicker than just running on foot or having to fast travel. So that's pretty cool. I'm okay with that one. Another thing, because the city's so much bigger and we're kind of getting into more modern times, I guess the buildings are going to be a lot bigger, so they created like this grappling hook thing again. Once again, my awesome professional commentary skills. I did not look up the actual name of the thing. Of course, it's Assassin's Creed. It has to have like some special name, like the super hidden hook of awesomeness. No, I'm just going to call it a grappling hook. That's what it is. So you can get to like taller parts of the buildings. If you guys know me or know my channel, you know that I have this weird affinity for big buildings, but if every single building is big, and I don't know, I guess you need kind of like a grappling hook. You can't be scaling every single building, especially if they're going to get like taller and taller and taller, and it's like the industrial age, and buildings are just going up, and you have to have some form of transportation than just climbing buildings. That being said, with everything getting really big, combat seems to be actually getting smaller. One of the things that they're really focusing on, as you can see, is, or if you've seen any of the trailers, sorry, is that they've like had a bunch of stuff with brass knuckles and just like this close quarters combat stuff. Assassin's Creed Unity and some of the other Assassin's Creed games, obviously it's like swords and stuff, so it's gonna be close quarters, but they have like spears and like all this like huge stuff, so you can have like ranged attacks. But this game is very like, it's very close, and it seems a lot more fast paced than other games. They put like this huge focus on brass knuckles, so like actual hand-to-hand combat seems to be a big thing. I read somewhere that like you can have multiple enemies attacking you at once, so there goes my strategy of sitting there and being a little baby and waiting for one to attack at a time. I'm gonna have to deal with multiple people actually attacking me at once, which is pretty cool. I like that they've actually added a revolver into the game. Obviously, this is one of the, I guess is kind of, I don't want to go into too big of a tangent, but one of the things I was always worried about, like when I was playing Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed 3 and all that stuff, it's like, I was wondering if when they started getting more and more modern, if they were just going to have like, if it was like 1940s, say they made a World War II game, are we really going to have somebody running around with like a sword, like killing people that way? It's like, I like that they're actually kind of realistically updating the weapons. I know this may get people somewhat mad because they're so used to a certain way, they're so used to this, but I read somewhere, it's like, the Victorian era, you couldn't just walk around with like a sword. You couldn't walk around with a spear. You couldn't start like throwing spears through people's heads and not expect to be punished for it. So to see that it's getting a lot more, like, the weapons are getting more hidden. They're updating like the guns to the actual time, so you're not gonna have like single shot pea shooters. In the Victorian era, you get like an actual revolver. You get brass knuckles, something you can hide. I think your sword even, it's like you hide the sword during it. You don't just walk around with the sword like over your head, like screaming at people. So I like that. I like that they're actually updating the game like that. I think it's cool that they're making it fast-paced. I think it kind of just fits like the idea of Victorian era London. It's like the small like corridors between like buildings and all that stuff. I think like the closeness, but at the same time making it bigger, if that makes any sense, is pretty cool. And then the final point that I kind of wanted to make was that there's no multiplayer in this game. Now, this is again where I think my bias. I think a lot of people, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, but people enjoyed Assassin's Creed multiplayer for what it was, or Assassin's Creed Unity multiplayer for what it was at least. That was where I fell into most of the glitches, actually. Every time I tried to get into a multiplayer game, either I was invisible on the other person's screen or they were invisible on my screen. It never seemed to work. I could never make it past an entire mission in multiplayer. So to see it gone, as long as it like actually enhances other parts of the game, like I don't want to see multiplayer gone and then still run into all these glitches. If they're going to take that massive piece of a game away, if you're going to take away something that people really enjoy, the resources to like make the multiplayer work and stuff have to go back into the game. I don't want them to just take it away for the sake of taking it away. I want that to make it run smoother. I want to see the glitches gone at release. And that's just my thoughts on multiplayer. I mean, you could go back to like Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer mode, which once again, it was a very like niche thing. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I don't know, I was kind of hoping to see like a multiplayer like that in Assassin's Creed Unity, but after seeing how co-op worked, for me at least, and just like the overall glitchiness of the game for most people, I don't mind multiplayer not being in this. I like Assassin's Creed being one of the few games that you can actually sit down and play non-multiplayer. So that's kind of my list of stuff, I guess some final thoughts that I just kind of thought of. And I didn't kind of plan for, so I only have a few minutes left. Holy crap, I gotta speed this up. So, kind of like overall, I just want to see the glitches gone. That's the one thing I'm asking you. Obviously, people I think are a little bit too sensitive with glitches. I know people are gonna say, well, you're paying $60 for it, you expect no glitches, but every once in a while, you're going to see someone standing on a bench. You're going to see someone on, like, a ledge that you're not going to. It's a huge game. There's, like, thousands of people in the streets at once. It's going to happen. People have to be realistic and understand that glitches like that are going to happen. But game-breaking glitches that we can't get past, people's faces all screwed up in cutscenes, that's something I don't want to see in this. If we're cutting all this stuff, if we're cutting multiplayer, if we're cutting all these additional features to make the game bigger and more smooth, I'm happy with it. But if they're cutting all this stuff and we still run into the same problems, I'm worried. I have to see how this game is going to be implemented. That being said, I'm very, very excited for this game, as I am for every Assassin's Creed. I hope you guys are excited too. As always, I will be uploading videos when it comes out, but that's not for a while. But I will try to do more of these commentaries. This is a very vague, general commentary, only hitting on like the big thoughts. If you want me to do something more specific, if you want me to do something like on a particular feature or part of the game that I didn't talk about in this, or if you wanted me to just talk about some subject in general about games or anything, make sure once again to leave that in the comments below, leave suggestions, and I will be trying to do more of these commentaries in the near future, because just like Let's Plays and stuff, it doesn't really work for me right now with all the stuff going on. So I will see you in the next one. Hopefully you have a nice day. Goodbye.